I want to start this video with a quote. Yeah, it's been a bumpy road, roller coasters high and low. This is the first verse of a song, and this specific song has been the song chosen for the reveal trailer of Planet Coaster, the first game, 9 years ago. Why do I choose to start this video with this verse? Because it basically will be the light and the kind of center of today's video. I decided to do this video as a, well, wrap up of 2024, of the whole Planet Coaster 2, well, Corsa, I don't know how to say that, the whole history, the whole thing, everything, the emotions behind and around this game. There's also some other verse I'm going to quote in a second, but I personally think it's important to wrap it all up because, feelings have been above and beyond, and, you see the current ratings on Steam. But for once, I really want to say there is still a good chance for this game to become what this first trailer 9 years ago, has us all feeling. And the first game delivered on so many levels, while the second game, yeah, it comes with its quirks, it comes with its problems, and I still stay behind with everything I've said, okay? So there's no kind of trying to balance that out or making up for something. I still believe this game has a lot of issues, but more than that, there is a hope for next year. Frontier has decided to announce that in the last wrap-up that they are going to address a lot of things in the next year before they will release more paid content. And this is where I'm coming in with the second verse that I wanted to quote. So it says, "So let your heart, sweetheart, be your compass when you're lost, and you should follow it wherever it may go. When it's all said and done, you can walk instead of run." I'm still, by the way, reading that out, I'm still having goosebumps because that first video, I even remade this trailer back in the day because I found it so good, and it just gave this whole idea of a new theme park era, a new franchise that kind of took over from where Roller Coaster Tycoon left off, and basically where Roller Coaster Tycoon World had us all feel very betrayed and lost. And I gotta say also that I'm super into theme park games and theme parks in general. I've been over 10 times to Disneyland Paris. My aunt has brought me to several Disney Worlds and Disneylands across the globe. I've been to Disney World. I've been to the original one in Anaheim, even though I've been only 18 months, which is a betrayal on myself because I don't remember. But I want to talk about the many things, the many unsaid things. I've been very vocal about issues of this game, but you can see how much I played the game in the recent weeks and months, and there is a good chance that I love this game. I still love it, despite all its quirks, and there are so many things that are really good about this game. I just want to name a couple of those in this video, just to give it a proper momentum, because it is absolutely important to talk about those things. Let's begin with the lighting, which had me loving it for the most part. The global illumination is a great thing to make this game look a lot better than its predecessor. And I know that a lot of people still have the issue it comparing against Planet Zoo. I still understand completely why that is, mainly due to the color grading of the game, which is I keep repeating myself, I've said that since the very beginning. This is no graphic issue. This is a style and style decision that Frontier actively took, it seems. It is a art style, an art direction, basically, decision to go for a bit more colorful, poppy vibe that suits the theme park. It's not a graphical issue. I mean, at the end of the day, everything we talk about, what we see is graphics for us. But the graphics in this game, the global illumination and stuff, is just absolutely fantastic. And I just can't say anything against this. Having the sheer opportunity to do some indoor stuff now with all these cool light stuff and having proper dark lights is very powerful. And I absolutely love the fact that we have the chance now to do proper dark lights and also to have this light play between indoors and outdoors. Yes, there is a bit of a, exposure time issue, which hopefully is going to be fixed in the future, but yeah, it's absolutely fantastic. The next point, and for me personally, you can see that on screen already, I still will have people saying that this layout is unrealistic, but the coaster builder I've had my issues at the beginning with it. It took a bit of a time until I was really getting into it, and also thanks to some videos of other people, including Sylv and others, who have done some cool, tutorials on that. I'm very happy to report that I think personally and I think I'm a very good person to talk about this because as much as I'm a pro in building in this game, I'm not in building coasters. I got decent enough to not be a complete noob anymore, but I'm definitely not a nerd or a complete pro. However, I found it very, very much more intuitive for me to build good and smooth coasters with very nice shaping and very good pace in general because of the fact how much better the overall builder performs versus the first game. And by that I mean the first game, in order to make it really smooth, you needed to do and master the 4-meter method, which I never really did. I knew how it worked, but it was all too tedious for me and all just way too long. And this coaster in front of you has been built with like completely randomly chosen pieces, longer pieces, shorter pieces. I think the shaping is good, the pace is good. Like it's a very good coaster in my opinion. I know it doesn't have any standard pieces. It's not like the standard train. I gotta also say that I kind of dislike this. For me personally, it's very absurd that many people only consider a coaster a great coaster if it is basically a repetition of existing elements on existing coasters. Like you have a standard layout which you do repeat a couple of times and just exchange a couple elements, and then it's considered a good coaster. Maybe it's because I'm so much influenced by the likes of Fantasyland and Disneyland, who always have like unique coasters at their hand, which basically don't give a on existing layouts. If you look, for example, at Taron or at Fly, just to name a few, they are also Black Mamba. Even though Black Mamba might be the closest to classic B&M inverted elements, it still is a custom-made ride for this one, as far as I know. I think it has been copied once, but after it's been in Phantasialand. But this is like, I really like to build coasters, and this game now lets me do this. This game just really allows me to make this work, and I'm very, very happy about this. Another thing I want to talk about, it's not on screen, but we all know that we have it, and you can see some of the effects already in here, is the scenery brush. I think this is one of the most untold stories. We all just took it and have been happy about it, but it's powerful, ever so powerful. You can't even imagine how powerful it is. You can even do so many more things with it. I'm working on a tutorial for next year, hoping that they will fix two little things with the scenery brush that I will need in order to make this tutorial work. And if that's done, I will release a tutorial on the scenery brush, because you can do way more than just scenery, like foliage with it. You can do some really, really damn cool stuff, including like proper gravel areas, and like you can do some really, really cool stuff with it. Most of you who have watched the channel for longer potentially already know about most of the things, because I've used them also in other areas of the park, but just like, or in not this park, but in other parks as well. But I'm really, really positively surprised that we have it in here. And I shall also name another thing that we don't need to see on screen right now, but we do need to quickly talk about. Obviously, scaling. As much as we have talked about issues in the choice of themes, maybe, I personally don't. I think the themes they went with, they are fantastic, and I personally would have found it very boring to go with the exact same themes of the first game, and you would have had enough people to complain exactly about being a copycat even more than they already do. So I'm very happy personally that they did decide to do this, and I'm just also very happy that they managed to have a good balance between very themed pieces and a lot of very unique, flexible pieces. And specifically with the recent addition of the glass pieces and the support pieces, I'm very happy. And scaling obviously does its thing. You have so much more flexibility now in building, and I think all the builds, especially in this park you can see in front of you, they have been a very, very nice testament of how much of a thing it is. And when I went back to Planet Zoo playing it recently, it just showed how much I'm missing the scale tool. Despite the fact that we have a lot more pieces in Planet Zoo, I was still struggling to build the same thing. So yeah, I'm mega happy about this scale tool. And last but not least, we need to talk about one more thing, I guess. which obviously is the pathing. Now, Frontier has completely redone the pathing in this game, and especially in this park over here, you can see it shine. I know a lot of people still have issues with it, but let me tell you, if you ever need anything, make sure to check out the YouTube channel of Taggy3D. He's having the most crazy tutorials on the pathing in this game. You can literally do every single thing you can imagine with it. The only last little bit we need to have fixed is the ground curb, or in general the curb go away. If that's the thing happening, oh my god, this is so good. But even though it is now possible to have path in blueprints, it is now possible to build virtually anything you can imagine with pathing. Huge plazas, huge areas, you can change the colors and the terrain and everything alongside it without a flaw. It is just absolutely mad what you can do with this. And I personally would have had no belief and no real hope that they would even tackle the pathing. Yes, I would have thought they would have improved the existing one in the Planet games a little bit, but at the end of the day, what they did is a complete overhaul of the pathing system. Yes, there could be a couple of minor tweaks still, but hey, I mean, it's just absolutely mad. It's looking really fantastic, and also it lets you do actually everything. If you tackle around a little bit with it, it becomes a very powerful tool to create absolutely great areas in no time, and it eliminates one of the biggest flaws of the two Planet games that exist before it. So with all the praise, and I thought I needed to talk about these things because they are a little bit untold because we just took them for granted, which is what gamers and people just do, I guess, you know, pointing only on the negative things. But we can't end this video or just go on with this video or making it so positive, because honestly, there has to be a reason why Frontier needs to walk instead of run, to rephrase and requote that thing. And we got to talk about that as well. And this is unfortunately, obviously, for a big part, the water park edition in this whole game, and the fact how much this game has been actually redone in order to, I don't know why exactly, but in order to do new things. I'm not sure if it, actually I'm sure it's not for consoles, because consoles are not the villain in this story. Consoles are just there to be another great element of this game, potentially, and also a great, you know, opener for the community. But I have a hard time talking about the water parks and so on. You know, I've been very vocal about this because I generally think in 2024 it's very hard to get, you know, to get away with having a good looking. Now, don't get me wrong, the whole edition of water parks is like visually very aesthetically pleasing, and I think the slides are realized in a great way. They have done most of it in a very, very nice way, with all the, you know, having swimsuits and having the possibility to go in pools. The pools are relatively great done, and they look fantastic. The water being actual water, volumetric water in which the people react to it is absolutely fantastic. And this is where the big issue is that I'm coming from. This is where I'm getting absolutely confused, because you have such a great system apparently available at your hands, and then there are so many issues about this. People getting stuck everywhere in pools, as you can see that in this park over here. It's absolutely obvious. Having the slides with all the physics, I don't need to talk too much about this. We've done this many, many times. They are addressing it. It's going to be fixed next year. We're all happy. It's all good. But why on earth would you release this way? And alongside this, we have so many weird decisions. While we have pools that are fully animated, or actually physically accurately calculated with people floating in water, you've got lazy rivers, you've got wave pools, so many absolutely great additions. And then you've got the in-game water rides, being at the Loch Flume or the River Rapids, that look horrendous and that actually don't have even physics. They look worse than the counterpart in the first game. And again, this is such a weird decision, because why wouldn't you just copy it? And the same, frankly, goes for weather. I'm not going to keep quiet about this. People are like, I've read so many comments on my video about the weather where it says, like, why the heck are you so negative about weather? You know, it's just a theme park game and every theme park is closed in the winter anyways. Okay, hold on. Yes, that might be true for the most parks in the US maybe, but if you look in Central Europe, for example, I've actually double checked this on many parks in also the UK and Germany and Poland and wherever you want to go. They are opened, and like most of them are very much opened during winter, and some others only partially open. But theme parks learned these days to also make money during the festive days. Obviously, it's they have a high running cost. You can't just close a park for half a year, and so they are working in winter, and specifically in snow times and so on. If you take Land or others, like even Disneyland, they benefit from that a lot, and this is why it is so odd. But even if you're on the side like, okay, I don't need this and so on, but hey, we've got seasons in game. We've got winter in this game, which goes down to 3 degrees, and we have a mountain biome. This is where it's getting actually confusing to me. So either you have snow and just take that over from Planet Zoo because you have it in this engine, you have it in this game, why wouldn't you use it? However, you have so many other things in place, the seasons, as I said, and then alongside this, so many weird decisions to not have people clothing differently. People do still run across your park or through your park in swimsuits, even when it's 3 degrees outside in your mountain biome in the winter. They don't even care. You don't have the chance to heat up your pools, which would be a cool thing. It's not like that I need it, but you have this all in game, and like there's so many tiny things. However, let's bring this actually to a conclusion, because I absolutely don't want to end negative on this one, because as I said, it's been a bumpy road, but it's time to walk instead of run. And what I mean specifically by that, let's talk about this in the conclusion. Right, so the conclusion of, for me personally, of this game for 2024 is it's been a very harsh start. Like, I don't want to paint a brighter picture than it is for me. I have been devastated. I've been absolutely disappointed booting this game on my own computer for the first time. I've been shocked. I've been left confused, to be honest. And I gotta say the way it is, because I have also had the same situation with City Skylines a year earlier when I was invited to Gamescom and then later on had early access to the game. I felt the same way. It was like, oh my god, if people get access to this game in this state, it's gonna be horrendous, and it ended up this way. And I'm not saying it's the same situation. City Skylines 2 has been very rough, to be honest, but it also scrapped a lot of things from the first game, which this game, in my opinion, didn't. Yes, there are a couple of things that I also don't understand why it's out, like, for example, synchronized stations. Why would you take that out? And a lot of the other things, it's just apparent that they left it out simply because they want to make money at some point. And I think this is where it got very sus. Like, this DLC, the release of this DLC and the announcement of it and the framing of it, and also the DLC itself for Planet Coaster 2 at this point in time, they've noticed that themselves. It's not like we're not even talking about misplays. That was a complete misjudgment of everything, basically virtually everything. But it feels like they have learned their lessons, and the foundation of this game is much better than the foundation of a City Skylines 2 seemed like at the beginning. They've also fixed a lot of things at Paradox, just a quick side note, but I feel like we can look a bit more happy about this game now compared to when it was released. And I want to also just give a bit of a personal view on it, why I have been so emotionally connected to it. This game was the reason why I started a YouTube channel. Like, it's not like that I actually actively started it, but like, this game meant so much for me, the first game, and it meant so much to everything I did, and why I was starting a YouTube channel, why I was doing videos, why I was meeting Frontier, why I was meeting so many lovely people in the community, and also other people we've been spending time in the Efteling. And there's a huge emotional connection to this game and to the entire theme park genre as a whole. And this is obviously why I was very hyped about this. And getting towards the launch, Frontier did a good job in hyping us up, because they showed a lot of these great features very early on. And it wasn't until the first playtest and after that playtest that we started to get a bit worried. And that was exactly where they started to, have nothing else left. So I remember very well when there was the playtest, and I felt like, yeah, it's a bit bumpy. It's had its quirks, but there's time. They can fix it, and if they're in the polishing phase already, it's all good. And then having the early access and seeing that virtually nothing happened made me obviously very, as I said already, disappointed and confused. But and I want to end this on this point. This is by any means against the developers. I know a lot of them in person. I know how absolutely determined and passionate they are about this game. Specifically, Rich and Adam, that I do know both, and they are both like absolute nerds, and they don't want to give you a product like that if they don't have to. And this is where we have to look at. We are living in 2024, and there is merely a single game this year that has been launched without a major disappointment in some areas. And maybe to name a few that, like, you can't even name that many. Like, Manor may actually be the exclusion, but just because the way they did the launch anyways. Like, but if you have, if you would have taken Planet Coaster 2 and you would have launched that into early access, I think everyone would have been absolutely fine with the state that it is in. The big issue comes in when you have a full price game that needs to pay bills. And this is where I think this is what the situation was and what caused all of it. The team itself, and I guess the devs, would have never released a product like that. But what shall they say? Shall they say, hey, it's actually not finished, but we had to release it? That's not how you do marketing then. You basically have to talk about your game as if it is all your decision, But from what I've seen and what they have been talking about and doing, we are looking into a bright future of 2024 and ongoing in 5, obviously now, that hopefully has a huge fix in this game, and then we'll have accordingly following up some great DLCs, some additions like proper weather and all these kind of things. It's there. The ingredients are there. The passion is there. The talent is there. So let's just hope for that to happen. But also, I will end on a personal note. I will not stop to criticize if I think it's justified. And it is just normal that my opinion doesn't resonate with everyone. So you can call me biased, you can call me doing that because I want to be, I don't know, whatever people have said recently, I forgot the word, reintroduced into the Frontier program. I don't know, I don't care. I have a huge passion for this game, as I said, and I've got a huge passion for making videos, honest, transparent videos, and this is the video where I wanted to try to tie it all together. And as I said, I will continue to do that. If I have the feeling that the criticism is justified and will push us in the right direction, I will do so. And I guess I had some influence, whether it's been only me or others, but if you go through my why video, which caused a lot of confusion and maybe also distraction, but also a lot of people agreed with it. Take that video and go through the list. A lot of these things have already been fixed, and maybe it's because of that. Maybe they had this on their list already. I don't know. I don't want to take credit for that, but it seems to work. It seems to work to talk about these things. It seems to work to be vocal about these things. I think I've never done this in an unpolite or whatever way, in a too harsh way. I mean, you have to face it. If there's an issue in the game, there's an issue in the game. Well, there's no way to discuss around this. But the fact that I've basically fixed so much makes me happy. It makes me very happy. And as I started the video on the positive note, it's been a pumpy it's been a bumpy road, but let's hope it's gonna be pumping next year. Okay, that was a bad one. I admit, but no, I'm really happy, and that song that made this all start and made me be excited for the Planet brand in the first place. It should be our compass, which is actually the name of the song. Funnily enough, the compass for next year should be the song of the release trailer or the reveal trailer of Planet Coaster. Just going to phrase that again. Yeah, it's been a bumpy road. Roller coasters, high and low. I'm just gonna go to the next phrase just to kind of let this end there. So let your heart, sweetheart, be your compass when you're lost, and you should follow it wherever it may go. I will. When it's all said and done, you can walk instead of run. So let's all hope that Frontier is walking alongside us next year to make this game good enough to run the year after into a bright future. That's been it for 2024 in Planet Coaster 2 for me. More about this game next year. A couple of surprises coming as well. And I hope you enjoyed that one. Have a wonderful time, guys. See you next year. Have a good New Year's Eve and whatever you're doing. I talk to you in the next one, and goodbye.